you know, a little bit of Spartanese there. I thought that'd be inspiring to many. Anyway, let's play some tactics. Now, interesting stuff is happening. Look at that guy. Ragdoll and that guy is pretty funny. Interesting stuff is happening, and I think it's really kind of awesome at the moment. The game is feeling a bit of a mixed bag at times. We're getting some really horrible matches from time to time. Do you know what? You get put into like a queue of people, and it's like some of them are really exciting, fun, kind of moderate level matches, and some are just awful. It's the matchmaking in this game, I don't think has ever worked properly. It's just a massive cluster F, because it just feels that sometimes you go into a map, and I ran solo recently as well. Was that someone trying to flaylock me? How dare you? Anyway, I ran a solo match, and it was pretty interesting for the first round. You know, I had a good few runs. Then all of a sudden, it put me into a match with what was evidently 3 gangs in their team, and obviously a whole group of randoms on our team. So I was like, well, okay, that's a bit weird, but okay, let's try it. And each of the 3 gangs that were on their team was using bullshit tactics and proto-stomping, blah, blah, blah. And it was just the most excruciating map I had played in a long time. And I remember thinking, seriously, what is up with this matchmaking? It just seems to, I don't know, it's like it's rolling a dice and, you know, throw a 6 to start matchmaking almost. And it's just utter bollocks. And I can only imagine what people are thinking coming into this game, getting that kind of scenario where 3 full squads of people coordinating effectively go up against a group of people with no gangs at all. Literally, I looked in the team window, nobody was in a gang. And I remember thinking, wow, that is ridiculous. Is this, I mean, there's no justification for it whatsoever. I was about to say, is this the game trying to kind of keep veterans happy? Well, to be honest, no, because that's just going to annoy the same amount of people back. So yeah, post in the comments if you've had that. I honestly think matchmaking is just an absolute load of bollocky piss water at the moment, because it just doesn't feel very good at all. And I think, to be honest, it's very painful when you get Q-synced gangs as well. I think if you Q-sync, then good on you, you know, GG to you, bro, but I kind of think you're Hitler if you do as well. I know you're having fun, and I know you've got all like loads and loads of friends, and you want to go and like circle jerk each other all the time in the same map because lol, winning is fun, right? Well, just, you know, the idea that they never included a 16-man deploy or a 12-man deploy is because it's going to kind of break the game a bit. And I think that's very much what's happening. You see it a lot. You see an awful lot of Q-sync gangs going into matches, and you just think to yourself, nope, and you just leave and you go and do another match. I would heartily recommend anybody who plays this game and watches these videos, if you see, you know, in the loading screen, or if once you get into the match you see that there is a Q-synced gang against you, just leave, go and do something else, because you don't want to kind of have that level of anger and annoyance. Yes, they often, you know, Q-sync gangs are beaten because they're usually so stupid that they actually end up, you know, falling over their own guns and shooting themselves in the head. But the reality is that there's often quite a lot of bullshit tactics used against you in that scenario, and I just think, honestly, don't put yourself through it. And that's my mantra. That really is. I generally won't play where there's obviously Q-sync gangs going on anymore. I used to, because usually would beat them, but I think lately I'm just a bit kind of, I don't know, I'm very selective with the matches now. People get a bit ragey with me about this, but to be honest with you, you know, fuck you, it's my time, I do what I want. And to be honest, you know, I'm not going to sit here and let you shoot me with your 12, you know, guys, because there's me on my own. You know, no offense, but sod you. And that's got to be the go-to position for every player now. You don't have to fight. There's no, if you pull out of a battle, even if it's halfway through, you get all the points, you know. You get all the money and the points still given to you for progress up to that moment. People seem to forget that. They think, oh, I've had a good round, I don't want to lose the money and the points. You don't. If you leave a match halfway through, you get paid up to that moment you left. Okay? Hopefully people get that. So this is why I think I would heartily recommend people leave battle. I mean, Judge Radamanthus made a really good post, which was a bit trolly, actually. He did mean it as a bit of a troll to begin with, but it's turned out to be, quote, serious post, because It was about ambush OMS. You know, the fact that they've removed vehicles from ambush, which is a great thing to do, by the way. I'm really pleased they did, but they've left vehicles in ambush OMS. Okay, so you can't in ambush, but you can in ambush OMS. And the reality is that if we play ambush and we get an OMS, we'll leave, because we're not really, unless we're running vehicles ourselves, we'll leave. So you might as well just remove them from OMS as well. You might as well just make vehicles objective-based, assets for the game. I know people will hate this, but to be honest with you, oh God Almighty, vehicles are fun, they're fine, they're pretty well balanced now as well with the beta hotfix changes, I must admit. But I don't really want. I think I want to see more infantry fun in ambush. I think ambush was a great game mode until it just got completely tank stomped, and then they just did the damage to it then. So I think until they can really, pull it back so that you're not going to get your Doonas ruining the whole game for people, then fair enough. And plus, ambush is not really the place for vehicles anyway. An ambush denotes that somebody has been ambushed. Therefore, it should be an infantry versus infantry battle. Whereas a domination and a skirmish are more asset intensive, so there should be a vehicle and dropship component to them. Anyway, what do I know? That's my personal thoughts on this, and I think, to be honest, they really are making some great moves forward. But I think there's still certain issues that really do need fixing. The matchmaking is horrible at the moment, and I think I really would love to see it not be done on war points. I think people who play way more than me and are better than me should be playing other people who play as much as they do. I barely play a few hours a week now. Well, actually, that's not so true. I probably play maybe a couple of hours a night when I'm not capped. But once I'm capped, yeah, I'm not playing. I'm going to play other games. So, to be honest, I can barely stand more than a couple of hours a night now, because I just find that very so often when you're having a great match, it's a wonderful thing. But when you then have that one match which just gets you ground into the floor because, I don't know, aim assist and gangs and oh God knows what, it just becomes such a frustration that I find myself just thinking, well, I'm not really that arsed about this, and I'd just quite happily put on Space Engineers and sit and mine for a bit. I know it sounds sad, but you have no idea. If you don't play Space Engineers, you just don't know, bro. You just don't know. Seriously. It's so good. But there we go. So I think, to be honest, until we maybe have a bit better matchmaking, if at all possible, then oh well. I think missions will probably solve this and the whole Legion piece. But Destiny's out soon. As I do this video, it's the 21st of June, and to be honest with you, Destiny's going to be out in about 3 weeks, and I am going to play that, and I'm probably going to do everything I've done for Dust. I'm going to do for Destiny if it's good. If it's absolutely shite, then we're not going to bother with it, but I suspect it's probably going to be relatively good. So yeah, we're going to see. But then again, having said that, it's such a difficult time at the moment to get really-hyped about any game, to be honest with you. It's summer, I don't really want to be inside playing games in summer as well. But anyway, there we go. What can you do? To be honest, yeah, there's a lot of good stuff coming. I still love the casual nature of games as well. So things like Space Engineers is so much fun. I can't describe to you how much fun that game is. But and Dust is great fun as well. But it would just be good to get rid of some of these kind of, fatiguing tactics is what I want to call them. And it's just where people use equipment in the wrong, in kind of the lack of spirit of the way. And I know people are always going to tell me, well, war's war, bro. But it's a game. It's not war. It's not actually real, any of this. And a game should be a facilitated, conveyed experience. And I think people honestly forget that. And I really would love to see a bit more kind of control from CCP in terms of rules, in terms of things like dropping spawn pads, and I don't know. It's a very difficult thing to quantify, because I would just love to see the game have a little bit more restrictions on what people can do with certain things. And I think the whole spawn pad dropping from above nonsense is frustrating to me, because it's just too easy to do, and I think there needs to be some limitation of that. To be honest, spawn pads are a kind of stupid thing anyway. I'd never really kind of like the idea of spawn pad, because they never really inspire a front facing game. It's my biggest issue with PlanetSide 2 as it happens. PlanetSide 2 is a great game, don't get me wrong, but you never know where the attack's coming from. So you're constantly being attacked from all corners, which I know is probably quite realistic, but again, it's not real, it's a game. And I think, to be honest, you never really have this kind of proper fight, because the fight is 100, it's 360 degrees around you. And that really does get annoying. I can't tell you how annoying that gets after a while. And I guess Dust has gone the same route. They've made it so you can obviously spawn anywhere at any time, and spawn pad dropping is usually the difference between winning and losing, which again, I do respect entirely, but I think it would be nice every so often just to have a match where there's no spawn pads, for example, and you have to actually use recognize spawned areas. You have to maybe group up and go in vehicles, because that's what the original PlanetSide was like, is that everybody would spawn and you'd have to wait for a galaxy to be ready to drop you all in. But that feeling of watching 16 players all drop in from low orbit in a galaxy is an incredible feeling. But again, there's just not enough coordination within the game to do that, because not every player will want to have to go and call in a LAV, call in a dropship and go and do it. So it's kind of flawed to begin with. There is no solution to that as a problem. But hey ho, what can you do? Oh god, this game, man, this game. I do love it, don't get me wrong. I'm totally there with it, but I just wish there was a little bit kind of more randomization, I guess is what I'm saying. I would love to have a lot more random events happen, like having the spawn point move around would have been awesome. By the way, melee kill, do you see that melee kill? Nice. I pistol whipped him with the flaylock. It would be nice to have a bit more randomization, so maybe the spawn, the actual capture point moves around, or maybe, I don't know, maybe just something is more random per chance. But I think at the moment, maybe it's the game modes, yes, I totally accept that, but I think at the moment it's just so formulaic. You see the socket, you then just find people coming in with exactly the right fits, exactly the right tactics, and my god, it gets boring as they get sniped at the end. How nice. There we go. I mean, again, still enjoying the game, still having fun. There's still quite a lot of people playing it. Fun fact, actually, there's less people playing server to server PlanetSide 2 than they are playing this game now, so go figure. And that's evident because when I played it with Delboy, we were amazed at how few people there were in the game. So you're not going to get the 100v100 battles anymore. You might be lucky to get 10v10 now, which is a big shame indeed. There we go, 15-3, not bad, I'll take it. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you next time.